Okay, so this is the longest ending I've ever seen on a Star Trek show, I think. The part coming up here.
Yeah.
Pike, number one, and Spock and Tyler are all debriefed by Starfleet Command, who promises to reform Section 31 and name Tyler as its new commander, because, you know, we all want a double agent Klingon in charge of our intelligence operations. Spock warns that the destruction of Discovery does not entirely eliminate the problem. We've managed not to reveal the truth of Discovery's fate to Starfleet, and we have sworn never to speak your name in the presence of others, yet I feel you with me always, and every night I look to the stars for your signal. Spock is thinking outwards towards Burnham. Somehow he sees little flares go off from way too far away for light to actually travel to him that quickly. The Enterprise D is in dry dock being repaired and refit. When Spock arrives on the bridge, he has most of his normal haircut back, or at least it would appear. Everybody's in their Discovery but wrongly colored original series suits. Everybody sits in their interviews with Section 31. I think I love number one's reaction to everything the best, where she's just like very short, very curt. Basically, Spock, when his interview with Section 31, kind of gives the rundown that everything's going to have to stay a secret. They're going to have to never speak a word. There was no mushroom spore drive. The Discovery died in a firefight. The entire crew was killed with it. He'll never mention his sister, understanding why we never heard about her. Overall, tying up a lot of loose ends that I think people were worried about the continuity of Discovery.
Yeah, I agree with that. For all you can say about the negatives or the positives of Discovery on the Star Trek canon, I don't feel like they mess with it too bad, and they did do their best to tie up any loose ends they might have had with it, with the continuity anyway, for the most part.
And I think originally when Discovery was first being put together, it was almost kind of like a reboot's not quite the right word, but it was going to be like a starting over, or not referencing things that had already existed. Like I've read quotes from people saying that, look, we're not going to see Spock or the Enterprise. This is going to be its own thing, which all turned out to be wrong eventually. But
yeah, very quickly, actually.
Real quickly. But overall, I think season 2 of Discovery went quite well. I liked some of the member berries they fed us on it, you know.
I remember.
Yeah. Dealing with the continuity errors. Of course, the cast that they gave us that would go on to Strange New Worlds were all fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
And strangely enough, pushing Discovery well into the future actually handled a few of the things that fans were concerned about. They wanted to see what happened in the future of Starfleet, not in another prequel, until they got Strange New Worlds and they realized that they did want a prequel.
They probably could have set Discovery that far in the future to begin with, and it wouldn't have affected very much, except for obviously the second season. But like the first season could be relatively unchanged.
Yeah, no, a lot of that you could do still mostly the same.
Yeah.
Especially dropping us in 1,000 years in the future, there'd be a whole new status quo we need to learn about. All right, so with that being said, that wraps up season 2 of Discovery. You're right, Chris, we should have just went ahead and slammed that into the previous episode. But this
episode was, or the previous episode was a lot of build up. And then this whole episode was like nonstop action.
Yeah, it doesn't stop for a minute. That is one thing I will give this episode, is that when it gets going, it just goes. It just puts the pedal to the metal and runs.
The space battles, however improbable they seem, did look really visually nice.
Yes. If you didn't have any sense of Star Trek, if you didn't have any pre-rendered judgments about what a Star Trek battle looked like, this episode would look fantastic to you. If you're like me, though, and you keep going, like, God, they didn't even need that many ships to fight the Borg. The Borg or the Borg, you know?
Well, they were fighting with newer ships, though. Bigger ships, even.
Yeah, this is true, yeah.
Yeah, the Enterprise D is way bigger than the A.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. If you ever see those posters where they put them up, like, size-wise comparisons, they're gigantic differences.
Yeah, so, I mean, it kind of makes sense. Because, the Enterprise D has enough firepower that's probably comparable to a couple of ships in this era.
Could very well be. That is very true.
That's my headcanon. I'm sticking to it.
No, I would agree with you.